Shirou felt like he was going to die. Not by battle, but by exhaustion. Why? Because he was cooking up a storm, literally. Man. This is going to be a long day. He thought as he was in Chaldea's kitchen, cooking up multiple foods of the sort. As Shirou was preparing food on the counter, he noticed that the chicken in the oven was finished, proceeded to pull it out of the oven, and left it on a plate. He then resumed to work on the dishes he was cooking on the counter. Hey Gawain, can you help me with carrying the finished dishes to the tables? My hands are a bit tied now. Yes, Queen Shirou. Gawain excitedly replied as he carefully carried the dishes of food to the tables. Good. Lancelot, can you help with the decorations? As you wish, my queen, Lancelot replied as he started to set up the decorations around the room. Tristan, how are Master, Mashu, Bedivere, Mordred, and Gareth doing with Saber and her alternate versions? They are doing well and distracting them, my queen, Tristan replied as he was carrying the bottles of drinks to the other room. Good. And Merlin? Not sure, but he did say he got the gifts. Well, that's a good thing, Shirou thought as he started to cook a lot of hamburgers on the grill along with fries, shakes, onion rings, and fried chicken. As Shirou was cooking, his thoughts wandered to today's event. Why was Shirou worried about today? Simple, it's Arturia's birthday today. And since there were multiple Arturias in Chaldea, that means today is their birthday as well. Which means Shirou must make a lot of food for the Arturias. Probably a year's worth of food at least. While Shirou was cooking, his thoughts wandered to what happened a few days earlier. A few days earlier. Saber's birthday is in a few days? Ritsuka, Da Vinci, and Mashu asked. Yes, Shirou replied. Which Saber? Ritsuka asked. Shirou sighed. Arturia. Okay, but why are you asking all three of us for this? Isn't this, well, a private thing for only you to know about? Da Vinci asked. Well, there's something I need both of your help for. What is it? Shirou took a deep breath before saying, Da Vinci, I need you to build a giant oven enough to house a cake the size of a dinner table. Master and Mashu, can both of you help me stall Saber and her alternate versions until the time is right? Ritsuka, Mashu, and Da Vinci was stunned to hear those words out of Shirou's mouth. What? They asked in unison. Shirou sighed. Yeah. Ritsuka and Mashu just gasped, and Da Vinci took a few deep breaths and mentally slapped herself to see if she was awake. And just like that, she wasn't dreaming. Is that too much to ask of you, Da Vinci? Shirou asked. Huh? Oh no, it's not that I can't make an oven as big enough to house a cake the size of a dinner table. It's just that, well, 1, how are you going to do all of that, and 2, don't you think you're going a bit overboard with the cake? Da Vinci asked. Shirou chuckled as he heard the words, a bit overboard with the cake. What's so funny? Ritsuka asked. Master, you probably may not know this, but I used to be Saber's master when I was alive. Ritsuka, Mashu, and Da Vinci were shocked again. Really? Yeah, and if there's one thing that I learned, it's that you should always prepare a lot of food for her when it's time for meals. No way, Ritsuka said. Yeah. And since there are multiple versions of her, the amount of food needed will be a lot, Mashu said. You have no idea. Shirou muttered. I can see that. Da Vinci said as she, Mashu, and Ritsuka imagined a scenario of all the Arturias just running up to Shirou with glowing eyes and saying, food. Yeah, anyways, can all three of you do it? Well, I can do it, although it's going to take a few days. Thanks, Da Vinci. Ritsuka? Mashu? Well, I guess, he replied with a shrug. Although how can I know that you're done with the preparations? Shirou then handed Ritsuka a smartphone and said, "When I give you a message saying that the preparations are done on the smartphone." "Got it?" "That I can do," Ritsuka said with a smirk. Shirou sighed in relief. "Thanks." "Mashu?" Mashu quickly regained her composure. I am not sure if I can do this, but I'll try my best. And plus, the heroic spirit inside of me wants to do this as well." Shirou smiled. "Thank you," he said as he was about to leave, but Da Vinci stopped him. "Hold on, I'm not done yet," she said with a mischievous grin. Shirou gulped at looking at the grin of hers. What? "In exchange, you have to agree to test something for me later in the future." Shirou sighed as he knew there was a catch to this. "Deal." "Good." Shirou then quickly left Da Vinci's workshop and went to find the Knights of the Round and Merlin. After minutes of wandering around Chaldea, Shirou found all of them in the recreational room. Perfect, he thought as he saw all of them. "Mother?" Mordred asked. "Queen Shirou?" Gawain, Lancelot, Tristan, Bedivere, and Gareth asked. "Oh Shirou, how's life with the Arturias? I trust that you've been keeping them satisfied?" Merlin said in a mischievous tone. "Haha, very funny Merlin," Shirou said in a sarcastic tone before turning his attention to the rest of the group. "Anyways, I need all of your help here." The Knights of the Round then listened to what Shirou has to say. "Saber's birthday is within a few days, and I need all of your help in setting up a giant dinner party for her and her alternate versions. Will all of you help me?" Shirou asked. Instantly, the Knights of the Round landed on one knee and said, "As you wish, Mother/Queen Shirou." Shirou smiled after hearing their answer. "Good. And Merlin?" Merlin smiled as well. "Anything for my student and her alternate versions and her lover as well." "Great. Now here's the plan I need all of you to follow on. Bedivere, Mordred, Gareth, Master, and Mashu will try to distract Saber and her alternate versions from finding out about the party while me, Gawain, Lancelot, and Tristan will get the decorations and set up the party room. As for Merlin, he's in charge for getting the gifts." "Master is involved in this as well?" Gawain asked. "Yes," Shirou replied. "And what about you, Mother?" Mordred asked. "Simple, I'm in charge of cooking the food." "Is that okay with everyone here?" "Yes." They all exclaimed happily with passion. After all, within a few days is their king's birthday, and their queen is asking them to prepare a surprise party for her and her alternative versions. "Alright then, let's get started," Shirou said. For the next few days, Shirou, the Knights of the Round, Ritsuka, Mashu, and Merlin were working their butts off enacting their plan of giving Arturia a surprise birthday party. Gawain, Tristan, and Lancelot bought all the birthday decorations at the stores in Chaldea. Ritsuka, Mashu, Bedivere, Mordred, and Gareth distracted Arturia and her alternate versions from finding out about the party. Merlin oversaw getting them gifts. Da Vinci made a giant oven huge enough to house a cake the size of a dinner table, and Shirou used one of Chaldea's recreation rooms, reserved and cleared out the space, and added some tables over there. And finally, on the last day, Shirou oversaw making the food. Back to the present. Hope I can finish all of this in time, Shirou thought as he prepared another dish. Just then, Merlin came into the room with a giant bag behind him. "Merlin? You got the gifts?" "I did, Queen Shirou." Merlin huffed as he was catching breath. "I got the lion plushies, like you asked for." "Good. Now wrap them in gift boxes and carry them to the other room." "On it, Queen Shirou," Merlin teasingly said as he began to wrap them in gift boxes with his magic. It was then that Gawain, Lancelot, and Tristan came into the room and said, "Queen Shirou, the preparations are complete." "Good. Now you can help me carry the dishes to the recreational room, he said as his direction went back into the food he was cooking. I hope that Mordred, Bedivere, Gareth, Master, and Mashu are keeping Saber and her alternate versions busy. Meanwhile, in a singularity. Phew. That's done. Mordred exclaimed while she cleaved a monster in half. Meanwhile, Bedivere and Gareth were just about as done as well with their side of the singularity and were coming up to Mordred to check on her progress. How are things being on your end, Mordred? Bedivere asked. It's going well at least. Father and her alternate versions seem to not notice anything weird about our actions right now, Mordred replied. How about you guys? We're doing as well along with Master and Mashu, Gareth said joyfully. You told him we're on to this as well? Yes. Da Vinci seems to be on this as well. Right now, she should have made a giant oven for the cake for our king and her alternate versions party, Bedivere said. Alright, oh shit. Here they come now. Mordred exclaimed as they saw Arturia and her alternate versions along with Ritsuka and Mashu coming over. Hey Mordred. You're finished on your end? Ritsuka yelled out. Yep, Master. Got them all pretty good. Mordred replied. Ritsuka and Mashu came over to her, Bedivere, Gareth, and it prompted her to whisper, Did you receive the signal yet? In a soft voice. Nope. Not yet, he replied in a soft voice. Geez. I know that Mother must cook a lot of food for Father and her alternate versions, but just how much? Mordred whispered. Just by the look on his face, he probably must have made quite a lot in his past. Mashu whispered. Geez, now I feel bad for Queen Shirou. Gareth whispered. Me too. Bedivere whispered. What are you five talking about? Ritsuka, Mashu, Mordred, Gareth, and Bedivere nearly jumped and turned around to see Arturia and her alternate selves staring at them. Huh? Oh, nothing. Ritsuka nervously stuttered as he tried to hide the secret. Really, Master? Arturia Alter said as she was suddenly in front of Master. Why yeah, anyways, let's finish the singularity, Mashu quickly said before leaving with Ritsuka, Mordred, Bedivere, and Gareth in a hurry. Arturia and her alternate versions were confused about Ritsuka, Mashu, Bedivere, Mordred, and Gareth's actions just now. As the groups were walking, the Arturias were talking to each other. What was up with Master, Mashu, Bedivere, Mordred, and Gareth lately? Arturia asked. They've never been so secretive before. How should I know? Arturia Alter asked. They never told me anything about their actions. The nerve of them. Do you think they're up to something? Arturia Lily asked. Maybe. What do you think it is? Lancer Arturia asked. I don't know, and I don't care, Lancer Arturia Alter replied. Honestly, I have no clue either, Ruler Arturia said. Now that you mentioned it, Gawain, Lancelot, Tristan, and Merlin were acting weird lately too, Archer Arturia replied. You're right about that, Writer Arturia Alter said. Yeah. They've been kind of ignoring us and keeping something from us too, Santa Arturia Alter said. Oh no. This is annoying me so badly right now. Mysterious Heroine X yelled out. Calm down X, Mysterious Heroine X Alter said. Yeah. Calm down younger me, Mysterious Heroine XX said. Meanwhile, Ritsuka, Mashu, Bedivere, Mordred, and Gareth were walking down a path, hoping that a message from Shirou would come through. Come on Shirou. I can't hold them off like this forever you know, he thought as he kept walking. After a few hours in the forest, as fate demanded it, Ritsuka's smartphone vibrated in his pocket, prompting him to check it out. As so, he saw the message. The message said, everything is done. Yes. Ritsuka thought with a smile before he whispered to Bedivere, Mordred, and Gareth, Shirou's done his part. Mother has? Mordred asked in a soft tone. Yes. Then that means we can finish the singularity immediately, correct? Bedivere asked. Yes, Mashu replied. Well, finally. I thought I couldn't keep up hiding this secret forever, Gareth quietly moaned. Yeah, anyway, let's get this job done. Afterwards, Ritsuka, Mashu, Bedivere, Mordred, Gareth, Arturia and her alternate versions cleared the singularity and got ray-shifted back to Chaldea. As soon as they returned to Chaldea, the Arturias proceeded to go to the cafeteria, but Ritsuka, Mashu, Bedivere, Mordred, and Gareth proceeded to escort them somewhere else. Where are we going, Master? Arturia asked. Oh. Well, let's just say, somewhere a bit special. The Arturias were confused with Ritsuka's explanation. However, their confusion came to an end when they were brought to a dark room. When they entered the room, they were greeted with a huge surprise as the lights went on. Suddenly, the sounds of party clickers went on and confetti fell onto the ground. Happy birthday, my king/saber. What Arturia and her alternate versions saw surprised them. Inside the room was Shirou, Gawain, Lancelot, Tristan, and Merlin alongside with multiple plates of food and glasses of drinks, decorations on the walls, and gift boxes on the side. However, the one thing that shocked them the most was the giant cake on the table, which was about the length of a table and was huge. And it said, "Happy birthday, Arturia." For the first time, the Arturias were in a loss of words as they looked at the marvel in front of them. As they looked at the food and cake, they immediately knew the reason why the Knights of the Round, Merlin, Ritsuka, and Mashu were acting so weird lately. Shirou got them involved in this plan of his. And it made them cry on the inside. Because they couldn't believe that Shirou remembered such a thing. Shirou, did you make all of this? Arturia sturdily asked. Yes, he said with a smile. But why? Well, considering that today is, well, your birthday, so I figured why not celebrate it along with your alternate versions too, since, well, they're you as well, Shirou said sheepishly. At that moment, all the Arturias felt like crying because Shirou has planned all of this for just herself and her alternate versions. And it was beautiful. After a few moments, all the Arturias said in unison, "Thank you, Shirou," with tears coming out from their eyes. Shirou smiled and said, "No problem. Now then, shall we start the party?" So the party started with all the Arturias, the Knights of the Round, Merlin, Ritsuka, Mashu, and Shirou chowing down on the food, and it was a joyous sight. The alters were snacking on the junk food while the non-altered versions and Mordred were eating anything on sight, Merlin singing songs, Lancelot trying to get along with Mashu, Gawain praising Shirou for his efforts, Tristan drinking, and Shirou was watching the whole thing. When it was time for the cake, everyone got a slice and it was delicious for all of them. Of course, like earlier, the Arturias and Mordred wanted seconds of the cake. After the food was gone, the Arturias then received the gift boxes and opened them up, revealing the lion plushies. Of course, they loved it. Shirou watched the spectacle with a smile on his face. So, Arturia suddenly came up and sat next to him. Shirou. Saber? Arturia smiled. Thank you. For what? For everything that you did just now. Shirou then smiled as well. No problem, Saber. Arturia then placed a finger on his lips. You don't have to call me that anymore. Just Arturia is fine. That goes for my other versions as well. I see, then, no problem, Arturia. Arturia blushed after hearing Shirou say those words. By the way, Shirou. What is it, Arturia? You said you've got one gift for every one of us, but I see another gift in front of us. Really? Where is it? Then suddenly, Arturia gave Shirou a kiss on the cheek and both were blushing madly. "I at you," Arturia said with a blush. Shirou was stunned at the action that Arturia just did, and it also received some attention from the others. However, that's when Arturia's alternate versions saw the action she just did, and decided to join in. "Hey! Leave some for us too," Arturia Alter said. "Why yeah. It's not fair that you get to hog Shirou all to yourself," Arturia Lily exclaimed. "Even if you're me, that doesn't mean you get to keep him all to yourself," Lancer Arturia said. "Yeah. I want a piece of him too," Lancer Arturia Alter said. "As well as I," Ruler Arturia said. "Yeah. If anything, we should all share him," Archer Arturia said. "I agree with that," Writer Arturia Alter said. "I do as well," Santa Arturia Alter said. "Even though you lot may be saber faces, at least we should all agree to take turns kissing him," Mysterious Heroine X said. "Yeah. I want Shirou too," Mysterious Heroine X Alter said. "So do I," Mysterious Heroine XX said. That's when Arturia's alternate versions ganged up on Shirou, making him nervous. Arturia?" Shirou asked. "Yes, Shirou?" They all said in unison, including the original herself. Shirou gulped as he just got himself in a situation one could hopelessly escape from. He then called out to the knights of the round, Ritsuka, Mashu, and Merlin, for some help, but they refused. "Sorry Queen Shirou, but I must follow my king's order, and that is to not help you in this situation," Gawain stated. "Me too," Lancelot said. "Me 3, Tristan said. Me 4, Bedivere said. Me 5, Gareth said. "Sorry mother, but you sort of put yourself in this situation here," Mordred said with a blush. "Sorry Shirou, but seeing you in this situation with Arturia and her alternate versions just makes my incubus blood excited," Merlin said in a teasing tone. Ritsuka slapped his hands together in a praying pose and said, "Sorry, but I don't want to die here." "Sorry, but I don't think I can help you here Shirou-san," Mashu said in an apologetic tone while bowing. Shirou sighed as he looked back at the Arturias staring at him. "Go easy on me," he said, knowing that his fate was sealed. And then the Arturias proceeded to kiss him.